Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So I'm a little bit early, 10 minutes early. See if everything's working. Everyone, see if I can send that. Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Hello, everybody. So just waiting for somebody to come. Again, like I said, I'm 10 minutes early, so let's see how it goes. Sunday, the 19th of October. How this year is going by so quickly, isn't it? Soon be Christmas, won't it? I can't wait for Christmas and New Year because we're going down to Koh Samui and Koh Lanta down south. We're going to drive down there, spend Christmas in Koh Samui and spend New Year in Koh Lanta. Oh, hello, we've got three in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. Is everything okay? Can you give us a thumbs up if you can see everything, and send us a message saying that the voice is okay and the video is okay. So good morning, everybody. Good from Devon. Good to hear. It's nice to get some response that somebody can tell me everything's working okay. Thank you very much. Is it'll be next weekend, is it, that the clocks go back or forward or something? Does it go forward next week? So you get an hour in bed, or is it an hour less in bed? And then dark nights are coming up. That's the one thing about the UK that I didn't particularly like, the fact that it was dark nights. You know, come 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's dark. Looking good, sounding fine. Good. Les, hi Les from Philip in Wahin. Good afternoon in Wahin. What's the weather like? We just had a bit of a shower here today. Thankfully, the rainy season's come to a close now. Blue skies, as you can see behind us. A lot of clouds type of thing. We've had a few thunderstorms over the past couple of days, but on the whole, it's getting a bit cooler now. The humidity is going down a bit. You can't go mad with that, can you? The clocks go back, mate. The clocks go back. That'll be next weekend, is it? I don't think it goes back this weekend. Next weekend. I'm drinking from the same cup, Les. Oh, good. I sold a couple this week. I sold a couple of these cups and posted to various places in Thailand. And one of my other subscribers came down to see us, Chris. Unfortunately, he broke it, so I give him another mug. So, yeah, they go fairly well. He's retired and living the dream. Fantastic little cups. Very, very nice. A bit rainy, but not much. Oh, good. Hi from sunny Udantani. Hello, all the way up there north in Udantani. Welcome. Thanks very much for tuning in. Yep, next Saturday or early hours. Yeah, Sunday morning. It'll be one. Yeah, that's the beauty of like over here, because the clocks don't change over here. It's the same time all year, and the only difference, it gets dark. In the summer months, it gets dark around 7 o'clock, and in the winter time, it's 6 o'clock. So it's only an hour's difference. But I do miss them late nights. I like the late nights that was in England up till 10 o'clock on the evening, which was lovely. And but here it's between 6 and 7, but it's still warm. You can still sit outside once the bugs have gone. It takes about an hour at sunset for the bugs to disappear. Then you can sit back outside again. But that's it. It's warm all year round here, which is fantastic. So we've got some various things to talk about today. Some is quite interesting. Some is quite controversial, something like that. It might cause a bit of controversy. But again, it's everybody's views on it, isn't it? And I've got to say, the last video I did about the 3 things that can ruin your retirement, there was one particular section of it that caused a little bit of upset, if you like, by some people in the thought what I was thinking of about your parents being a burden. And I'll come on to that a little bit later on. And it wasn't meant in that respect with regard to your parents being a burden when they're getting old, if they need your attention or care. And again, we're going to come into that, because I'm looking more and more into my care, and I'm going to discuss on here what I'm going to do when I get to a certain age. And I'm 65 now, but as age comes upon us, illnesses can come upon us as well. And many people have asked me, what would I do? What am I going to do if I get old? Like if I have a stroke, if I have a heart attack, if I have an injury, or a terminal illness and things like that. So, yeah, I've already made plans for the eventuality if that ever happens. Touch wood, it never does, but one never knows. And the older you get, the more things that can go wrong with you. But I've got an action plan to do, and it doesn't involve going back to England at all. Look, that's the main thing. And I'm going to talk about some costs and things like that, and my view of how I was going to approach this. Now, I'm not a wealthy man. I haven't got loads of money in the bank, so I live on a budget. But the things that I'm going to do, other people can live on a budget and do the same thing as well, and probably get better care here than if I return back to England. Now, when I did a bit of research on this, it's quite shocking, really, as to how much the government's going to take off me. If I went back to the UK with my tail between my legs and thinking I need care, I need to go into a home and things like that, and I have my private pension, and next year I'll get my state pension. So let's say I've got both pensions at £2,600. How much do you think the government would take off me? Put it in the comments what you think, how much the government would take off me. So £2,600 on two pensions, and let's say I've got to go into a nursing home or a care home, and I've got no other assets, no other savings. That's all I've got is my pensions. Now, again, I did some research on this, and whether I'd actually get into a care home or a nursing home in the main place, because I've been living out of England for so long, the likelihood is probably not. But trying to find an answer to that is very, 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 very difficult. But again, we're going to discuss that. And okay, we've got some answers coming in. Maybe 20% of 2,600. Okay, well, yeah, you're absolutely miles away. They take the lot. You're somewhere near. You're somewhere near with that. 200 to 250 pounds per month. Okay, well, this may surprise you, is that they would actually give me a little bit of pocket money every month, and because I'm not on benefits or anything like that, so you can disregard that. There is a certain procedure if you have to go into hospital. If you've been living in the UK, you might have a PIP allowance or mobility allowance and things like that. You'd lose all of them, like if you went to a nursing home or a care home. But let's just say that you're a guy living in Thailand and you think you need nursing home care, and you have got a private pension. So just take it as if you like a similar situation to me. £2,600 a month, going back to the UK with your tail between your legs, because it's all gone a little bit pear-shaped over here, and you think, I need care, I need attention, so I'm going to go back to the UK. The UK would take everything off me, my pension wise, because I'm in a nursing home or a care home, and they would give me a massive per week, as in 2025-26, £30.65 a week. That's all they'd give me out of £2,600 a month. They would give me £30.60, so 120, about 150 quid a month I would be allowed as my spending money, and the rest of it they take off me. And because it's so expensive, the care home system in the UK, the council would pay the rest if I qualified for paying the rest. So basically, if you went back to the UK with the tail between your legs, because everything has gone P-tong, no matter where you live in the world, thinking they're going to take care of me, if they find out that you've been out of the UK for a number of years, I doubt very much you'd get even to set foot in the care. I don't know what the situation would be. I can't even think of who you'd ask at the end of the day for that. But basically, if everything went okay, you went into a care home, nursing home, then you'd have £30.65 to spend every week. Nearly as much well, a little bit more than the people who arrive on their little boats into the UK. So that brings me on to the next section as to what am I going to do? Because obviously, looking at them statistics, I ain't going to go back to England, am I? So let's say that one day I will own this house, and it won't be too long before I own it. So I don't owe anything, but at the minute I'm paying 20,000 baht a month. But let's just say I don't have a mortgage on it, or I don't have a loan on it. So therefore I've got £2,500 a month to live on. So that equates to about 115,000 baht. So I live in a 2-bedroom bungalow. So if we wanted 24-hour nurse care, or even just let's say the cheapest one, somebody to come in and take care of or help my wife, because when I say I don't want to be a burden on my family, and we talked about that on the last video, that I don't want to be a burden on my family, it's the same with a wife. I don't want her to have to clean up after me if I make a mess in the bed and things like that, because I care for her. And I think everybody would care that their wives or loved ones don't have to do that type of thing when there's other people available and who are trained and who will do that type of thing. So if we wanted somebody to live in house, if you like, that could be as cheap as 17,000 baht a month. 17,000 baht a month, about 350, maybe it's 400 baht, £400 a month. So 15,000 baht out of 14,000 baht leaves me with around 100,000 baht still. So that's more than enough money to live on, especially when you've got no house. Even if I had to pay 20,000 baht rent that I'm paying now, because we're buying this house on a rent to buy, that still leaves me with 80,000 baht a month. So as you can see, really, really affordable. So what would we do? Because we live in a 2-bedroom house, and I would feel that if anybody's living here 24/7, they need their own space as well, because living in a 2-bedroom house, you're under each other's feet all the time. So I would put this, and I've already mentioned this in a previous video, I would put this, it's like a knockdown house. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, small living room, and this would go at the back of the house. So therefore, if I had a carer living in the house, this would be her space, and it would be she'd have a little garden section type of thing. So this is her own independent living space, and that would come free to live in, and while she's taking care of me. So for 17,000, that could be up to 12 hours a day looking after you. But if you wanted somebody 24 hours a day, that could be to 30 to 40,000 baht a month. And based on 115,000 baht a month, it's still well within reach. Now, 40,000 baht a month is almost £1,000. So it would cost you £1,000 as a basic start off to live in a nursing home in the UK. It starts off at £1,000 a week or so, and that's in the sort of cheaper ballpark figure. So if you wanted to if you live further down south in London or the southeast, then that figure is likely to be a lot more than that price. So this is what I'm saying, the care that you can have here in Thailand far exceeds anything that you'd get in the UK, because it's going to take all your money off you. And like I say, if you've got a couple of £1,000, £2,500 a month, you can still live quite a good lifestyle over here with 24-hour care. We live in a bungalow anyway, so there's only small little steps. So if you're sick, this is what you can do. There's also, I've done a couple of videos on assisted living, and you can go and live in assisted living in Hua Hin for 80,000 baht a month, and that's for accommodation and 24-hour nurse on call. And so the options over here are just phenomenal if that's what you want to do. Now, getting back to the story as to the video that I did, And I said the three reasons that you could spoil retirement was one, divorce. Now divorce spoils anybody's retirement, and I've talked to a few guys who sort of lost everything and having to restart in the 60s. Now in the 60s you haven't got any recovery time, and the amount of divorces there is people in the 60s is tremendous, because life's changed. You've been working all the time, your wife's been at home all the time, so therefore lifestyle changes, and they may not like you being at home all the time. So okay, anyway, I'll read some of these comments. To get access to no charge to the NHS, you need to get back your ordinary resident status, which is assessed by that's difficult. Once you leave the country over 6 months, it can take you up to 2 years to get back onto the NHS system. Hello, Bill. Hope me and Ploy are both well. Ploy is absolutely over the moon, and I'll tell you the reason why for that in a minute. I'll just read these other comments out, but Ploy is absolutely buzzing today. Esan Man, to get back to your no charge point of NHS, you need to get back ordinary status, which is assessed by local authorities for statutory benefits. You need habitual residence and the Department of Work and Pensions. Yeah, anything over 6 months, but like I say, Esan Man, it could take up to 2 years to get back onto the system. And if to get back onto the doctor, again, it's just a headache, isn't it? Do you really want to go through all of that lot when there's better options over here? I think not. Hi, Les from Koh Samui. I received my new passport with great thanks from the government passport. Fantastic service, and didn't leave the house. Please give them a plug. I will do. So that is the government passport. Where was the offices for that then, as you were in Koh Samui? So, and how much does that cost you in total? So then people have a realistic idea of how much it's going to cost. You can get your passport done over here. I went back to the UK and I had extra pages put in my passport because we intend to do a lot more traveling next year. So going back to Bill's question, I hope you and Ploy are okay. Ploy is absolutely over the moon because she's absolutely excited because she's passed the driving test. Why did she pass the driving? Why did she want to take her driving lessons? And I'll explain to the reasons why this as well. It's because we have a friend who's become ill, and he had to be admitted into hospital, and his wife couldn't drive the car, and it was too far to drive from here to Pattaya in the motorbike and sidecar. So she took her driving lessons and passed the test, but she feels unsafe on driving on the roads. So my wife had it in the mind that, well, what if anything happened to Les? We sort of live remotely here. We're 45 minutes away from the nearest hospital. So if you called an ambulance or you had to go to the hospital, Ploy couldn't take me for one, and unless we went on the motorbike and sidecar. But then that would mean I would have to move the car. Ploy would have to get the motorbike and sidecar out. And it's such a kerfuffle. So Ploy had it in the mind then. She said, right, I'm going to take my driving lessons, and I'm going to go get my driver's license. Now, when Ploy does anything, she goes full head into it, and her head were in the books for studying. We were sat in the car, showed her all the gears. We never even moved the car, but she understood all the gears and the signals and setting the seat and the mirrors, etc., etc. So she went to a driving school for 2 days. Total hours were 18 hours, and at a cost of 5,000 baht for everything, for absolutely everything. The first day was 4 hours in the driving school, just driving around. They have a big area, so you can get used to just starting the car, moving off, stopping, going up a little hill, turning left, turning right, etc., etc. And then the second day, she did something like 6 or 7 hours of driving on the roads. So I still think over here in Thailand, that's not long enough in comparison, because we have to have 20 or 30 lessons before we even get put in for our test. So that's 20 or 30 hours, and Ploy did everything in 18 hours, and she passed first time. Everything she did when she went through the driving test, everything she did, she passed first time. And her son's come down here. He's 17-year-old. He's come down here to just have a bit of a holiday down with us, be with his mum. He didn't have his license for his motorbike. So she talked him into going to the driving school and taking his lesson on the motorbike. Another, again, 18 hours over 2 days. And he's just come back now, literally 30 minutes ago, and he's passed his test as well on his motorbike. And the cost of that to do a motorbike test, 1,500 baht. So it's not expensive. It's just time consuming. Like 2 days out of, a Thai person's working life is quite expensive. But if you were an English person, because when Ploy was in the driving school, an English guy came and he wanted to take his driving lessons, but he came to the Klang office and nobody spoke English in the Klang office. So they asked my wife to translate to him, because my wife speaks very good English, and said to him that he has to go to a driving school that they have a English speaking instructor in Rayong, that they have an English speaking instructor. I don't know whether he has to pay extra for that. I would imagine there must be a little bit of cost going on to that. But if it's only another 1,000 or 2,000 baht, say, let's say 7,000 baht to do your driving lessons and tests over here, it's nothing. It's so cheap. That's 2 lessons in the UK. It must be about £50 a lesson now in the UK. So she did everything for 5,000 baht. And I'm over the moon with her. So we've got her in the insurance. The insurance renews next month. So as from next month, she's on the insurance, and we're going to take her out for more driving experience and practice. So well done, Ploy, and well done her son for passing his test on the motorbike as well. So she's over the moon with that. She's still buzzing with excitement with that. So it's great, isn't it? Well, it's a bit too late to the show. I'm watching from the beginning now from Salford, Manchester. Take care. Thanks very much for joining me. It doesn't matter if you're late, as long as you come. That's brilliant. Thanks very much. Oh, good passport in Pattaya and the service all over Thailand. Oh, well done. Yeah, so give it a plug. Very well done. I'm glad you got your passport. So it's another 10 years of worry-free without doing anything else. Key Visa in Pattaya offer passport renewal service, so you deal with them by mail and don't have to leave your home. 34-page UK, all the cost 12,500 baht, and a 50-page 13,000. Oh, that's not too bad. I think it was about £150, so it's only 50 or 60 pounds more expensive to get it done over here. That's far cheaper than having to go all the way to England. So well done for that. Jackson, afternoon, Les. Congratulations to Ploy on her driving test. We are settling into life in Kanun. Very happy, mate. Good for you. Good to hear. As long as you had a safe trip all the way up there, you managed to get all your furniture unloaded and put in the house and settled in. And how was Jackson feeling? There's plenty of other things for him to sniff, I'm sure. So well done. Best of luck for that. Okay, what have I been doing? I've been playing around in my garden. I've been doing things in the garden. You know me, I'm a bit of a DIY guy, and I like doing things. And we had in the back of our house, we had a bit of an area that was sort of neglected. It's where Ploy used to grow plants at one stage, and we put a shade house, and I put my solar panels on the top now. So, and we put the fake grass down. I did videos on that, and that doesn't have stopped the weeds from coming up. It's absolutely fantastic. No weeds have come up through that whatsoever. So it's been good, but it still looked a bit boring. So I'm making it into a coffee corner. So I started with an idea that I've seen. Well, I sort of did this idea many, maybe 40 years ago in my own house when I first bought a house. And I seen a similar idea at a Korean coffee shop in Rayong, and I thought, oh yeah, and that just refreshed the idea that I had. So I'll show you the picture of what I'm doing. So it's all fake, but it looks very good. So as you can see here, I've made some fake windows, and that's a picture that I had printed onto a canvas, and I put it behind the windows. So this is it. We're still not finished yet. So the windows, I've stained them all, so they're all teak, and the frame and the doors I got off Facebook Marketplace. They were a little small. They're actually window doors then, but they were the big window doors. So I put a step because the full-size doors were about 5,000 baht. So I just made them into smaller doors. And again, there's on the left-hand side, there's a small window. And to the double windows on the right-hand side, there's another 3-meter piece overlooking next door's garden, which is always overgrown. So we're going to put windows on there with fake rice field pictures on there as well. And then we're going to board all the bottom of it so it looks as if it's all made there. And that's going to be my new coffee corner. So look at that. I mean, the 2 pictures that I got printed here in Thailand were 500 baht for both pictures. For that one there, and that was 150 centimeters by 70 centimeters. And the other one is, that's one on the left was 70 by 100. So both pictures there printed, fantastic quality for 500 baht. So that's what I've been doing, playing around in the back garden. I'm going to do a video on that as well, so you'll see when it's all finished. But it just makes it looks very, very pretty now, and it looks much, much better than what it did with just the plain brick wall or the block wall. So I've got my welder. I've been welding, playing around with the welder. I'm not very good at it at all. And so that's going to take a lot more practice. I'm going to try the stick welding because that looks a bit simpler than the MIG welding. The MIG welding, it just splats and spots, and I still haven't got the wattages right or the amps right. So, but when I've looked at the stick welding, that looks a little bit simpler. But I'm still learning when all's said and done. So I haven't started making the bench yet, but I've just been playing around with the welder, and it's good fun. It really is. And it's just nice to keep your mind active and do these types of things. Afternoon, ladies. I've just said that one. Does anyone have any update on Steady Eddie? I seen Nick Dean a couple of weeks or so ago, and he did a video on an update. His friend has taken over the channel or something. That's the last I heard about it. And he's sort of still on the decline, sadly. But I don't think he'll make it to the end of the year. But yeah, best wishes to Steady Eddie. For my memory, the car is insured, not the drivers. Exactly. Not like in the UK where each person needs to insure. Yeah, that's 100% correct. The car is insured, but you can have limitations on the car as well. Like the car is only insured for me to drive. And I've got to pay the first 5,000 baht excess if anything happens to it. And if anybody else drives the car with my permission, if they have an accident, then I have to pay the first 10,000 baht. So even though it's just dedicated for me to drive, I'm the insured driver of the car, I still have to pay the first 5,000 baht. But to get Ploy on the insurance, she's come on the insurance as somebody aged over 30. So it's the same thing. If we have an accident, we have to pay the first 5,000. But the car's valued at 260,000 baht by the insurance company, and the premium for that is 7,222 baht for a year with a 5,000 baht excess. So still a lot cheaper, and that's fully comprehensive as well. So it's still far cheaper than any insurance in the UK. If I went back to the UK now and got a car, rumbling with the thunder. If I went back now and got an insurance with a car, I'd have no claims bonus, so you'd pay a fortune. And I think all of that lot's going to go up as well come the budget in November. So what else have we got? Let's have a look. I've got my list of notes here of what to talk about. Okay. So problem solving and thinking about retirement and older age and things like that. I sort of think outside of the box. I live outside of the box. And because I was in the fire service for over 30 years, you've you've got to think about many things, because you only have a certain amount of equipment, and you've got to do everything with the equipment that you got or the equipment that you can order on. And I've sort of adapted to life thinking that scenario is that there is always a solution to, no matter what problem there is, there's always a solution. There's always a way around it. And I'm quite good at thinking outside of the box. And I've helped many people over the years with regard to getting around the visas, looking at things differently, and like for free travel, for free, thinking outside the box for medical treatments and things like that. If you don't have insurance, there's other ways of looking at it. So it's not just yes you can or no you can't. There's always options in everything that you do. And I've got to say, I've got loads and loads of information of the things that I've done, and inspirational material, what you can read and that. And I've just done this one. I've just added to my repertoire, if you like, of ebooks. And this one's a good one. So if anybody wants to have a look at this one, this deals with anything and everything. It's about 218, 220 pages long. So it's a good read. It's full of absolutely fantastic information. Greatness is built one choice at a time. Dream, dare, and shut up. Chase your dreams, defy limits, and silence the haters. Because this deals with absolutely everything. It puts your mindset into various things. And if you read inspirational and enlightening books and things like this, it helps you make them decisions. Because I've got to say, a lot of the guys that I speak to over here have actually gone through a hard time in their life. You know, to restart again at the age of 60, 65, when you've got a divorce, and it's financially ruined you, and it's wiped you out a little bit, it's very difficult to start again. But if you have a look at this ebook, and again, you can find that on my coffee. If you have a look at that, that's my Buy Me a Coffee shop, and it's got a number of ebooks on there for like the Keto Diet, moving to Thailand. Moving to Thailand is the right thing. It's got many things on there. So have a look at that. And it's got a brief description of all what's in there. I would say for those guys who are feeling lost a little bit, have a read of this book. It's only $3. It's the price of a cup of coffee. And I would even go as far as to say, if you bought it and you didn't like it, I'd even give you your $3 back. But I fail to think that anybody would not like it, because at the end of the day, it's a really good book to read. And if you put some of the things into practice, it changes your mindset on life. There's a few scenarios in there, and it's just good. It's just good. And as I say, I wouldn't try to sell anything or give somebody to something if it isn't any good. And I've got to say, just some of the things that it mentions in there, I do already, and I've done for many years. Again, I worked for the Prince's Trust a number of years ago, dealing with people with no skills, qualifications, or education, and move them on in their lives. And I got several awards for some of the things that I did, because I thought outside of the box. And the people that I work for liked my style of thinking, and the can-do attitude that you can do. Life is full of can-dos, but it's full of knocking the stuffing out of you sometimes as well. I mean, I've been divorced. I've been married 4 times, so I've been divorced 3 times. And it's 3 times the stuffing has been knocked out of me. At 42-year-old, I had the biggest kick-in with the divorce. I lost everything. And I've done a few videos on that, and recover from the age of 42 to being able to retire at 50-year-old. And there's always something that you can do. So, you know, look to the future. It's not always bleak. There's always something that you can do. And look forward to the rest of your life. Don't worry about the rest of your life, because there's always something that you can do. Good info, and the insurance, great value too. Yeah, the insurance is good. I paid 25,000 baht for 700,000 bahts worth of cover. But like I say, with other options, self-insurance, things like that, there's a couple of guys who've had to spend a few days in hospital, and they've had to self-insure. And a couple of guys went to the Bangkok hospitals and they paid a fortune. Another couple of guys went to the public hospitals and got almost the same treatment for a quarter of the price. Public hospital is a public hospital. It's still got doctors, and the doctors are a doctor is still a doctor, whether he works in a public hospital or a private hospital. It's the treatment. I don't care if I'm in a room with like 10 or 15 other people, because I'm still getting seen by the doctor. So yeah, insurance. Be proactive as opposed to reactive. Go and get your blood test. Go and get a check screen once a year. And at least if anything's going wrong, you get early notice of it. So there is, again, thinking outside of the box. There is plenty of things that you can do. I did a video about my CT scan of my heart and my lungs. And again, I was happy with the results, and that it puts my mind at rest, because I know I have got calcium build up on my arteries, but it's only 67, which is a low score in comparison to what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, and that improves your self-worth and self-being as well, because then you know you can take preventative measures. I've lost weight. I've lost over 22 kilos because I knew that's the strain of my heart, possible heart attack, possible stroke. So being proactive and doing something about it. It's no good saying, I can't do it. You've got to put your head into gear and do it yourself. So you can do it. You can do anything you want. Good info about the insurance regrade value too. Yeah, 7,200. Very good. They are pretty good and adapting, as they invariably have. What's that for? They are pretty good and adapting, as they invariably have limited supplies, equipment, and knowledge. Oh, is that you're talking about in the hospital? I don't know. The people that I... Okay, I'll give you a scenario. A friend of mine, he was in the early stages of dementia. And we had a word with his family, because he was losing the plot. He really was losing the plot. And it was me and my friend that was helping him out with his money. He couldn't remember his bank account details, his password, pass numbers, things like that. So we discussed with his family that they should take over his finances for him and sort his finances out, because when all's said and done, if anything happened to him, questions would be asked as to why we had access to his money and his family didn't. So for one reason or another, we devolved that to his family, but we had to go to the hospital to get a certificate to say he's got dementia. So we went to the public hospital. And 4 hours later, we were given the certificate to say, yes, he has dementia. He's seen 2 specialists, he had 2 scans, and we got the letter within 4 hours, and the total cost of that was 5,000 baht. And we sent the letter from the doctors, which was in English and in Thai, and we sent that to Australia, and his family got that, and now they have the power of attorney over his finances. Whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but it wasn't our place, because we weren't his family. We were his friends, but we weren't his family, and we put it over to his family. And so now they deal with his finances. But it just goes to show, 5,000 baht, how long would it take to get diagnosed with dementia? And by the time you've seen the specialist and you had your interview, and it could take, weeks and weeks to get that sorted out. But over here, it was done in a little of 4 or 5 hours, and we were back home having a cup of tea like 5 or 6 hours later. So these things, can be done. And over here, for the doctors that are working in the private hospitals, because Thailand trained them, they have to do so many hours in a public hospital anyway. So I have heard of cases where they've seen the doctor in the private hospital and they said, listen, I can't afford this type of treatment. And the doctors have said to them, well, if you go to the public hospital on this particular day, I'm there also. So, and the price is reduced and you're actually seeing the same doctor. So it can be done. So yeah, thinking outside of the box. So everything is possible over here. So just have a look, see what you can do. There's many, many things you can do over here. and everything is possible. There's ways around the system, like the banking. There's lots of people complaining about the bank account being frozen. Now, my bank account has never been frozen. I've never had anything to deal with a bank account. Everything's worked okay. And I opened my bank account in Pattaya maybe 10 years or so ago now. So, and although my bank account is still registered in Pattaya, a number of years ago, I went to the Rayong office and I said, can I change my bank account over to this office? And they said I had to go down to Pattaya to close that account before I could reopen another account in the same bank in Rayong. So thankfully, I didn't do anything like that. I thought I'll leave it be, because I pay 30 baht if I draw anything out of a cash machine here, because it isn't in the Pattaya area or Chonburi. I can live with the 30 baht because we pay everything else online. So we only draw the money out once a month for spending money, and that costs us 30 baht. So we can do that. So there are people that I've heard have been told that they have to get a yellow book to prove where they're living. You don't have to get a yellow book. There's a form that you have to fill in that your partner that you live with fills out to say you're alien and she's given you permission to live at that address. And so it's the immigration and the bank. They're trying to sort things out here in Thailand because of what's been going on with the people washing their money. And you can't blame Thailand for, putting the foot down and trying to sort it out. And sadly, we are the casualties a little bit. We are the collateral damage, but that will pass in a number of months. Sore throat now, dry throat. So everything over here is just temporary. It'll be a temporary problem. And again, the solution will be over and done within 5 or 6 months' time. The visas are possible. It's not difficult for a visa over here. You just have to, tick all the right boxes. There's lots of people saying, oh, this is the end, the death knell of the visa agents. No, the visa agents are always going to still be here. It might cost you a little bit more money when all the dust settles to get a visa. It's like everything else, supply and demand. And what I say to people who's coming to the end of the visa and they've used the visa agents, and the visa agents say, oh, it's a little bit more difficult, we can't do this, can't do that, can't do the other. Go back to the normal tourist visa. Go get the tourist visa, do your 60 days and then extend it for 30 days so you get your 90 days. So you can go out the country twice in 1 year. So that still gives you a good 6 months of, okay, it's a little bit of hassle because you have to do a border run, but 6 months' times, things will have moved on in Thailand. Things will have changed. Things will have been sorted out, and it'll be a different set of rules in 6 months' time. So instead of worrying about it, just have a look at your options, take the options, and do other things just to tide you over in the meantime. But it's still possible to get the retirement visa without having to put the 800,000 baht into the bank. Just do the income method. There's ways and means of doing the income method. If you apply for your retirement visa or visa based on retirement from outside of the country, then it's a lot more easier to get your bank account by doing it that way, because then that shows intent to the banks that you're going to apply for your visa for long term. Okay, it means that you have to go out the country to apply for that. But when all said and done, if it eases the wheel to go round by doing that, well, that's one of the two things that you can do. So it's not impossible. It always can be done. So has anybody got any other questions? Let's have a look. If your car is under 10 years old, you can class 1, and then there are the options for micro insurance. If you have less than 5k or 10k kilometers a year and need to, you can buy extra insurance that lots of 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, there's many ideas. I heard through a number of years ago, because a guy bought a car that was over 10 years old, and they said they couldn't get class 1 insurance. But I've then since heard that you can buy class 1 insurance or first class insurance for any age of car. So I don't know. Again, my car's 6 years, so it's another 4 years before I even have to worry about that. But we'll probably end up getting another car as it comes up to 10 years old, because we won't owe anything on the house, so mortgage free. So the car will be like coming up to 10 years old. So that's probably when we will sell it. So I'll be 69. So yeah, that'll last me up to 79, 80 years old, another 10 years for a brand new car. Fingers crossed. It's always fingers crossed, isn't it? So, right, what else have we got here? Let's have a look. So, yeah, your chance to ask any questions whatsoever. I was working for the cat sanctuary yesterday. Sorry, I wasn't working. No, I wasn't working. I don't work in Thailand. I was helping a friend out. She had a number of issues, so we were there helping things out. For the 91 cats and I think 5 or 6 dogs that she's got now. Some beautiful dogs. So if anybody wants to adopt a cat or a dog, just send me an email. And if you send me an email, I'll give you her email address. But usually it's on the bottom in the descriptions of my videos if you want to contact her or if you want to donate towards Michelle and the cats. Everything is welcome. Sadly, a number of months ago, I helped with her situation as she had a python which got into the cat compound and had a snack and ate one of the cats. So sadly, it found another entrance the other day, and it got into the cat place and ate another cat. So that's 2 cats this python has had over a number of years. So again, the situation I was helping with, I just made sure that it was snake proof, and we put a lot of wire mesh up in various parts that this snake had slithered through. And she had a couple of leaking taps and things like that. So it's like everything else, maintenance to a property. I go around once a month and help out, suggest things that she can do and things that she can't do. So she's always welcome to anybody which wants to lend a lending hand or helping hand, even just to, comfort the cats and things like that, because the cats are beautiful cats. Class 1 is only for cars less than 10-year-olds, but they then replace class 2, class 3, class 2 plus. Okay. My car is 13 years old and I have a first class insurance. Oh, well done. Class 1 and class 2 is Sandman. So yeah, I mean, I'm with Ruja Insurance. Ruja is the one with the kangaroo, and we've had them now for about 4 or 5 years now. We're very happy with it. But again, we've never had to make a claim. The only claim that we had to make was for a windscreen. We weren't covered for windscreen damage, but since we changed the insurance, because we also got a discount because we've got a car camera, which is absolutely brilliant, the car camera. So if you have any accidents, they've got video footage, see whether it's your fault or somebody else's fault. You get 10% discount for having a car camera, which is, it's sort of almost paid for the camera. 6,200, so we got 10% off that, and the camera was about 1,000 baht. So yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? That's 10% every year off the insurance because you got the camera. So it just pays for itself when all's said and done. And why wouldn't you have a camera? So yeah, there's things you can do. And as I say, we've got the back camera, which is, I don't particularly like because I always use my mirrors. And if you're looking in the back camera, you're not looking in your mirrors. Now that's all fogged up because water's gone into the camera and it's made it all misty. So what we're going to do, because Ploy's just passed a test and she will use the camera, and I'll get a new camera put on the back. It'll be only about 500 or 600 baht, and then at least you can have a better view when you're reversing. Paul, Les, I always enjoy your chats. Me and my wife are leaving for Texas next week. What an adventure that'll be. We should be back in Thailand in 5 or 6 years. I'll be about 64 years old then when I return. Oh, well, have a safe trip back to Texas. Thanks very much for joining in and watching the videos and doing the live streams. Much appreciated. Thanks very much. So yeah, 64 in 5 or 6, retired in Thailand 5 or 6 years. That'll soon pass. It's amazing how quickly time goes by. I've been retired now 15 years, and it's gone by like that. So in another click of the fingers, another 15 years will disappear. So hopefully I'm still around in another 15 years time. So, that'll make me 80. I'll be happy days at the 80, living at 80-year-old, as long as I've still got all my faculties and me zest for life every day. And that's all a part of living over here. Actually, stresses disappear, and it's a better quality of life over here, far better than what's going on in all the Western countries now. All the Western countries now all seem to be at war, fighting with each other, standards of living and things like that. I don't worry about such things like that over here now, which is brilliant. Hi, Les, I remember you saying you like the warmer weather, hence one reason for your retirement in Thailand. Where would it be the best for warmer weather in the UK for during winter? Inside with the heating on. That's the only way you keep warm in the UK. Sitting out inside with the gas fire on, the electric fire on, or the central heating, or all three if you're really cold. Now, I've been home a couple of times in the winter in the UK, and I just don't like the cold at all. I'm just in the background here, I've got the fan blowing on because there's little black flies flying all over the place, and the fan keeps the little black flies away from your eyes or your nose and that. And it's much easier to sit in front of an electric fan to keep cool than sit in front of an electric fire or a gas fire to keep warm. Because every time you open the door, all that warm air goes out. If you open the window, you have to put jumpers and jackets on. No, t-shirt all the time. I don't have a jumper. Over here. It's very, very, very rare that I wear long trousers. I'm always in flip-flops. Fantastic. So your feet aren't crammed up in the shoes and things like that. So I can't sing being warm. I can't sing the praises of being warm and living in a nice country with nice people, happy people, and the cost of living being as cheap as it is than anywhere else in the world. And I'll come on to the cost of living, and I'll give you some examples. So, okay, let's. I've mentioned this many times, and I know, and I'm sorry for those people if you don't want to hear it again. But for the new people who are just tuning in, type of thing, like that house opposite the road, something similar to that, you could rent that around here, because Pim, our landlady, who we're buying this house off, and we used to rent this house off before, she's got a house that's coming onto the market in a month or so's time, 15,000 baht for 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, detached, for 15,000, which is about £350 a month. No rates to pay. That's all you do. You pay the rent, electricity, and internet and water. That's the only 3 things that you have to pay. So for less than £400, maybe, everything's covered for your house and all your utility bills. Absolutely very, very cheap. Our electricity bill for this house, it's about less than £10 a month for the electricity bill. Well, between £10 and £12 a month, to be fair. But we do have a bit of a solar here, and the solar, it reduces our bill by about 20 to 25%, because our electricity bill is never high. We've never ever had an electricity bill, even without the solar, more than 1,000 baht a month, ever, because we don't have the air conditioning on. We always have the fans on. We like the fans. I've not worn socks for 11 years. The only time I put socks on is when I put my Wellington boots on when I cut the long grass next door and I cut the hedge next door. And my wellies are for snake protection. So in case I step on a snake or the snake, you know, because we do have snakes over here and we've seen quite a few. A few more over the past week or so. It's been a bit of a rainy season. There's plenty of frogs, so there's plenty of food for the snakes, and they're just looking after this, looking for the frogs. So yeah, a pair of socks when I wear me Wellingtons, or sometimes when I go to Bangkok and I put me van shoes on, I'll wear slipper socks. But every other time, it's just I walk around in flip flops all the time. I believe some insurance companies will give you class 1 insurance on cars over 10 years, but only if you had conditions coverage with them. Or continuous, yeah. New glass, continuous. Yeah, again, it's like everything else, isn't it? It's swings and roundabouts, but it is what it is. I've got to buy some socks and a suit. Well, you can get cheap suits made. I had a number of years ago, I had an Armani suit made for 75 quid. It was 50 quid for the suit to be made. And if I wanted the Armani buttons and the Armani lining, it was another 25 quid. I said, yeah, go on. And it was a beautiful, well-made suit. Took them 4 days to make it. And I went to a wedding and it just fitted lovely. It's beautiful. Armani. It's the only brand name I've ever really bought, and it was a fake, but it looked very, very good. I regret taking your advice. I've been 8 months since I married my Thai girlfriend, and it has been living hell in the process of getting a divorce. Oh, my advice was for what? To get married? I don't think I've ever told anybody to get married. But I'm sorry that it fell apart. You're getting divorced. Divorces is never good. But I would have thought getting a divorce here in Thailand is a lot easier than getting a divorce in the UK. Jackson, my house here in 2-bed, 2-bathroom in Khon Kaen, 6,500 baht a month on a 12-month contract. Wow, fantastic. Yeah, that is very, very good. Very, very good. So that's what I'm saying. Different parts of Thailand, different living costs and different. So it swings and roundabouts. If you want to live in the highly tourist populated areas, then you're going to pay the price. Like beautiful as it is in Krabi and Phuket, you pay double the price of what you'd pay up here. Now there's another guy that we showed around the other day, and he thinks it's very, very good value over here for the cost of everywhere. So he's now living in an apartment for a month whilst he drives around the Rayong area looking for his place there he wants to live. Got a spider crawling over the back of my laptop. So yeah, again, I would say travel around Thailand, find the place that you want to be, then spend a month in every place that you fancy visiting and see whether you can live there, and then have a look at the properties, because you'll be surprised. And we live 8 minutes away, 8-minute drive away from a beautiful beach. And I did a video the other day on the beach with She Sails. Stunningly beautiful place, and beautiful sunset, 8 minutes away from where we live. So if you live a little bit out, so you're not right on the beach, then it's affordably cheap. It's cheap to live. 12,000 baht a month we were paying. Incredibly cheap. Did you experience the quality of Play's driving lessons? Were they comprehensive like in the UK, or were they Thai style? I don't know. She didn't want me to teach her to drive. She didn't want me to teach her to drive because it would be in our car. And I understand her feeling with that. And what she wanted to do was to practice in the instructor's car. So if she had any bumps, accidents, or misadventures, it wasn't going to be in our car. It was going to be in an instructor's car. And I understand that. And an instructor can speak to her in Thai And although Ploy's English is very good, driving, I suppose, comes with different challenges. And I felt also that if she went with the instructor, because he has the pedals as well, the assisted braking, and at least he had control of stopping the car. Now, she was always nervous about driving the car, but after the first day, she was over the moon. She said, I've had so much fun today, Les. I should have done this years and years ago. And on the second day, she went from being a nervous driver to like loving it and driving for 5 or 6 hours straight. And the time was, she drove for 3 hours, and she said, you can either go back to the test centre now and you can go home early, or you can have another 2 hours of driving. She said, give me 2 more hours of driving. So she absolutely loved it. But that's just the basic. She's got the license now, or we go get the license tomorrow, but she's got the paperwork to say she can drive. So after tomorrow, she'll have a license to drive for 2 years, and then she renews it and gets a 5-year license. So yeah, it's just extra practice now. The roads here around Rayong are very, very good anyway. They're not busy, it's not stupid traffic, but we can actually practice. There's plenty of driving areas that she can drive around here, reverse parking and stuff like that. And she found parallel parking easy. And once the instructor showed her how to do it, she just did it and never thought twice about it. Now, parallel parking, everybody hates parallel parking because they think it's difficult. But she took to that like a duck to water, and she did it 5 times in a row without putting a wheel on the curb. So putting it into, as opposed to cones, put it into practice where there's proper cars, then that might be a bit of a difference. But as from next month, the 16th of next month, the car gets reinsured and she'll be able to drive. So she will be doing a lot more of the driving. Now, I don't drink and drive. So that it'll be nice if she can drive, the fact that if we go out with the groups of people, because my wife doesn't drink, then at least she can drive us home. So it has its advantages, and I'm really chuffed for her that she's actually passed the test. So now she's got a motorbike license and a car license, which is brilliant. You have to renew your Thai driving license every year once you are 70. I'm not too sure on that one. I'm sure I've got a friend who's 72 who's just got a 5-year extension on his license, his Thai license. I don't know about that. I can't swear that, but I'm sure, because he's 72 now, and at 70-year-old, he's got a 5-year extra on his license. I don't know. I'd have to look into that, Isan man. I can't say with 100% certainty that's correct or it isn't. Following our channel a couple of years, you pointed to a very rosy picture of being married to a Thai woman, had great relationship till got married. Within 1 month, dead bedroom started, didn't get her away. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I mean, I do paint a rosy picture. I've been married. We've been together now for 9 years. We're coming up to 10-year anniversary next month. So it is a rosy picture. I am happy with everything. I've got to turn around and say it's my 4th wife, and she's knocks the spots off my other 3 wives. She's one of the nicest, kindest, gentlest people you could ever wish to meet. So yes. But again, there are horror stories as well in Thailand. For some reason, it doesn't work. Cultural differences, and getting married. How long were you together before you actually got married? There are other people that I know who've got married, and also regret getting married because they got married for the wrong reasons. So I'm sorry it hasn't worked out. I mean, where did you think it went wrong? Cost me 90,000 baht, mostly property. Yeah, 90,000 baht, £2,000. It cost me, when I got divorced in the UK, about £140,000. So at £90,000, that didn't even pay my 90,000 baht. Or is that £90,000? Oh, that might be £90,000. That's expensive. Why did it come to that much? Especially in Thailand as well. But again, I mean, for people, you've got to tread warily. I think in Thailand, you've got to protect what you've got, like prenuptial or something like that. I can sort of walk, if everything went to P-Tong, I could walk away quite happily and just accept the money that I've lost, and I ain't going to lose anything. And in some ways, I mean, because I'm buying this house, a lot of people have turned around and said I'm a fool because I'm buying this house, that if we get divorced, you know, I could lose an awful lot of money. But let's face it, let's say that if I rented this house for 10 years at 12,000 baht a year, that's a lot of money in rental costs. Now, the cost of this house is about 3 million baht. So if we got divorced, I'm entitled to 50% of this house. So I'll get 1.5 million baht back because I'm allowed 50%. And the fact that I paid for the whole of the house. Now, if I rented the house for that time, I wouldn't get anything back. So for me, by being married, at least I'm going to get 1.5 million back if the shit hits the fan, if you like. Same with the car and stuff like that. Just because you're married to a Thai person doesn't mean to say she's entitled to everything. You know, I could gladly walk away from everything, and because I've got enough money to live on, to turn around and say, well, okay, I'm happy at that. I'm sorry that if it's cost you that, but I do paint a rosy picture because I do have a rosy picture, and I know plenty of guys that are married to Thai girls and are very, very happy. And there's only a few that it's gone wrong. And if you're one of them, I apologize about that. And I'm sorry that it feels like that. But again, there are things that you can do to mitigate any losses. Hey, up Les, how's it going? Down the allotment? I like the allotment. It started raining. It started raining here. It's coming in very, very black, and there's a bit of crackling of thunder in the background as well. So it may come as a thunderstorm here. But the allotment, I always like the allotment. Basically, you got bait and switch. Also, I didn't ignore some red flags because she was smoking hot. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, red flags are very important. Question, what about taxes when becoming an expat? Do we still pay taxes to the UK or Thailand? UK and Thailand have an agreement, double taxations. No, I don't have to pay any tax on my pension because it's a government pension. And the change in the rules with regard to tax, again, if I've been taxed in the UK, double tax agreement, I won't have to pay tax in Thailand. And that overwrites the original rules that they had 2 years ago. So let's see how that works. And until it goes into the Royal Gazette, it's still not worth the paper it's wrote on until it's published in the Royal Gazette. Thailand, for me, sometimes sort of shooting themselves in the foot with regard to taxes. They want the people to come, because they're losing millions and millions of baht because tourists aren't coming here. The Chinese have left Thailand and are visiting Vietnam. Now, Vietnam are offering a lot more to the tourisms. Same with Cambodia and Laos. Thailand, I think, got a little bit above themselves, thought they were the bee's knees and everybody wants to come. They're trying to attract the high wealth individuals to spend lots of money in Thailand. But in reality, the service has gone down. There's lots of people complaining about Thailand. The baht is too high. People are complaining it costs too much money to get here. So there's many, many things against Thailand at the minute with regard to attracting tourists. There are better options available. And if you're a wealthy individual, you can pick and choose wherever you want to go to. I think I'm a strong believer in Thailand, and I love Thailand and I sing its praises, but there are, at the minute, some better options out there. It's for every obstacle they're putting in the way with the barriers, and they're introducing the 300 baht tax again. Now it's not going to put anybody off, but it's just another nail in the coffin that you have to pay to come here. You're already paying 500 baht tax, departure tax, but that's been put onto the flight costs. So now they've added another 300 baht, and then they're making it more difficult to get your visas, bank accounts, and things like that. So the Thailand at the minute need to have a serious look at what's going on and what they can do to introduce the benefits of coming back to Thailand again. The amount of adverts popping up on YouTube now is ridiculous. Not only do you get the videos, there is also a video ads to come on YouTube. You greedy, well, I can't do anything about that. It's YouTube that picks and chooses when to put the adverts on. Even if I demonetized and said I don't want any money for the from YouTube, they would still put the adverts on because they provide the platform to put my content on. They will put the adverts on whether you like it, whether you don't. You can pay a subscription to YouTube, which cuts all the adverts out, so you don't get any adverts. So again, they want it both ways. And YouTube get the lion's share of anything and everything that comes on here. So it's not just the content creators. It's just one of them things. Adverts, yeah, but you can click on most adverts and it'll finish within like 10 or 15 seconds or so. But with adverts, as far as being annoying is concerned, when I went back to the UK and watching various programs on the ITV or any other channels apart from the BBC, there was 10 minutes of content and 10 minutes of adverts. So that's far, far more adverts than YouTube put on any of the videos that I watch anyway. It's just one of them necessary evils. I'm sorry that you feel like that. I can't do nothing about it, because even if I demonetized everything, you'd still have to watch the adverts. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. You live and you learn. Could have been worse. Yeah, I mean, could have been worse. You could have been killed by your Thai wife. I've known cases of that as well, you know, where the Thai lady kills. I mean, I was attacked 3 times by one of my ex-partners. She attacked me with a butcher's knife the last time, and that was when we split up. But I put up with too much violence from her. Again, I did a video about that, and yeah, it's just crazy. She could have killed me. Question: what's the flight time from Heathrow to Bangkok? 12 and a half hours if it's direct, or it might be 13 and a half hours. It's 12 and a half hours one way. I think it's 12 and a half hours from Bangkok to Heathrow and 13 and a half hours from Heathrow to Bangkok. I don't like doing the direct flights like that because it's a long time sitting on your bum. I like the way you stop at Abu Dhabi or Dubai or Qatar. So it's like 6 or 7 hour flight. You get off 2.5, 3 hours at the very most. You get back onto the flight again, and then you're all refreshed and awake because you've had a bit of a wander around as well. And 6 or 7 hour flight passes very much quicker than 1 13-hour flight. That's in my mind. So that every time I go back to the UK, I do that. I choose to do that. Sometimes it can be a little bit cheaper. Sometimes it can be a bit more expensive, but I like to break it up. That's for sure. If Vietnam introduces a retirement visa, I'm going. I like Vietnam. I like Vietnam very, very much. And Thailand, Vietnam were very close to each other. But like you said, they didn't have the visa to stay there. So therefore, it was a bit more difficult where Thailand wasn't. Les, they are putting pop-up ads, your video to like banners. Yeah, again, as I say, sadly, that's YouTube, and YouTube are putting more and more adverts on. I've seen, again, it frustrates me as well when I watch other people's videos, because the pop-up ads, and they're just all the time. They're right at the, if you click onto a new video, it's right before you start the new video, and then there's a couple of them. I mean, I've just got medium, but you can actually, medium settings, but you can actually increase the amount of videos ads that you can get, so it's maximum. And that they're doing it like every 15, well, less every 5 or 10 minutes. It's just crazy, I know, but that affects me as well. But I won't pay to have the ads. I don't know how much it costs, but I refuse to do that. When you can just click on them anyway. It's just that. It's just the way it is, isn't it? For certain retirees and expats, Indonesia is the place to be, but fortunately, most people haven't cottoned on. Hopefully, they never will. Indonesia, are you talking like Bali or them type of islands? Because I hated Bali. We went to Bali for a month for a honeymoon, and we came back after 3 weeks because we didn't like it. I liked it the first time I went, but I was only there for 3 days, and I took my wife there for the honeymoon, and we both hated it. Couldn't wait to get back. Once you pass 70, it's every year for a driving license. You have to have a medical certificate issued from a local hospital or clinic no longer than 1 month before application. Well, the medical certificate is 160 baht. 160 baht to get a medal. I don't think it's every year. Again, I'm not doubting you, but that seems a little bit ridiculous every year. Because then you have to watch a video every year. You've got to do the test every year. No, I think you're wrong there, but I can't say for 100 because I don't know. I'm sure my friend David, who's 72, has got his 5-year driver's license. I know in 70-year-old, you've got to take a test again in the UK. YouTube Premium is 1,890 baht a year. In Thailand, about 45 quid, less than 4 quid. Yeah, well, £1 a week. That's not expensive, is it? To get rid of all the adverts. I mean, because that is, I don't have the stick, TV stick or anything like that. It's YouTube videos and Netflix. Them are the only 2 things that I watch. I don't watch any of the UK TV whatsoever. It's YouTube videos. I like YouTube videos because you can just type in anything and there's a video about it, which is brilliant. And I just put up with the ads. I might actually do that then, do the subscription. £1 a week, it's nothing, is it? I'll look into that and we'll go for that. Got the shoot off now. Put the chicken in the oven. Roast dinner, yummy, yummy. Oh, yeah. I don't know what we're doing for tea tonight. What time is it now? 4:09. Yeah, we'll be going out maybe 6 o'clock. We'll go to the local eatery and have a celebratory meal. And maybe a couple of beers tonight because Ploy's passed her test and she's over the moon because her son's passed her test as well. Evening, Les. Hello, Scott. Evening, Les from New Zealand. Good evening, Scott. Thanks for joining in. Vietnam is spearheading the globalist authorization agenda. Digital. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Ubud. Yeah, Ubud was nice in Bali. I like Ubud, but I didn't like the coast. The coast was terrible. They just kept offering you drugs and trying to get you into the shop and not let you out. You are wrong. I'm 76 and I just renewed my license. I got another 5 years. Well, there you go. There's somebody else who can confirm that. Well done. Thanks very much for quantifying that. I didn't think every year for a 70-year-old up, it's just crazy. Administration-wise, it's just too much. I have YouTube Premium, love it. I will, as I say, you might have talked me into that. I'll have a look at that, and it might be worthwhile doing. Renewed my driving license, got another 5 years. I'm 75. But there you go. There's 2 people, East Handman, who disagree with you. So I think maybe on this case, it might be a bit of wrong information. I like to live in Bansaray and Chatham one day. Let's hope you do. Let's hope you get there. Chatham is nice. It's sort of the poor version of Hua Hin, but Hua Hin's on your doorstep, like 30 minutes away, and you get all what you need, the cosmopolitan feeling of living in Hua Hin. Chatham is much quieter for the driving around and things like that. I think my own personal thing is that Hua Hin is very, very busy traffic-wise. Trying to get parked is a nightmare. I think it's actually worse driving in Hua Hin traffic-wise than it is driving around in Pattaya. So, but that's my own personal feelings. But still a beautiful place to live. So what else I got? So 1 hour 19 minutes. Okay, right. What else are we going to talk about today? Assisted living and things like we've already covered that. So if anybody that's just joined in, right at the beginning of the live stream, we were talking about the cost of care homes and what you get if I move back to the like a care home in the UK with my £2,500 a month, I get an allowance off the government to spend my own money of just over £30. £30.65 a week they would allow me, and I'd have to pay the rest in my fees. So again, I've discussed what my feelings would be about living here with assisted care, because you can get assisted living here or a living helper for like 18,000 baht a month, which is ridiculously cheap, isn't it? But like I said to others, I'd put this on the back of my house, and this is a 1-bedroomed small living room with its own bathroom apartment, and that would be all plumbed in, so they had their own living accommodation as well, and they'd get 17 or 18,000 baht a month. And if you wanted somebody to live there full time, then they've got their own space, so they're not exactly in our house all the time. So these are the options that I'd say to people that you can do. But we all have our own options, don't we? Of what we can do, what we can't do. That's a whole part of living. Right. I like to play golf. I love Rayong, but I think the club might be better for golf in Chiang Mai. Yeah, again, I've never played golf, to be fair. I've never really had time to play golf. I've always been busy. But there's plenty of golfers or golfing going on around here. There's plenty of like world-class golf courses around here. Chiang Mai, the only thing that puts me off Chiang Mai is stunningly beautiful as it is, but like the burning season, everybody complains about 3 or 4 months of the year being highly polluted, the atmosphere. So that's why there's a few nursing homes or care homes also in Chiang Mai, and many people have asked me to do a video on the nursing homes in Chiang Mai, and I can't really recommend them because of the pollution, the air pollution in Chiang Mai during them 3 or 4 months. And it's not the place to be, is it? Because in some cases that stops your sitting outside and enjoying the fresh air because of the pollution. You know, whereas down here, okay, there is there's air pollution everywhere there is in the world, but we suffer less down here. And the same, the further south you go, the less pollution that there is. And so why would you want to live in an area that's got, you know, pollution? Chiang Mai is probably one of the cheapest places to live in the whole of Thailand by all accounts, and stunningly beautiful as it is, I wouldn't want to live there. Yes, come to Rayong during the burning season. Rayong is nice anytime. Isan man, okay, I stand corrected on the driving license. Okay, thanks very much for saying that. But yeah, I just thought every year is sort of a bit too much. 3 months per year. Yeah, 3 months per year is the burning season. Les, do they have camper vans in Thailand? Yes, they do. And it's a growing trend over here in Thailand, is the camper vans. Now, I love camper vans. I've done a couple of videos with regard to camper vans over here. And as much as I'd love to get the camper van and do it up, there's even the small buses. Now, I'm 6'1", so the vans over here, the Toyota vans and the Honda vans, things like that, aren't built for me. I'd have to stoop down all the time, and that would put me off. Now, to put an extended roof on one of the vans, it's 270,000 baht, because we went to in one of the videos, we visited a couple of places that renovated these vans, and it was 270,000 baht to put a roof extendable roof on, so I could stand up in it, and for all the paperwork, because it needs a lot of paperwork and licensing and things like that. And so basically, this is what the cost involved just to get a basic van converted over here. 11 to 12-year-old van is around 500,000 baht, and then the conversion for a basic conversion is another 500,000. So you're looking at a cost of around of 1 million baht for a 12-year-old vehicle to be renovated into a motorhome, and that's just basic. So if you want it sort of top end, you're talking, 1 to 1.5 million. And if you want it to be absolutely legal on the road with your taxes and your paperwork, then you have to pay tax on that. And you could pay anything up to 80% tax on the conversion. So let's face, if it's cost you 1.5 million to buy the van, get it converted, you would pay 80% tax on 1.5 million to get the paperwork. So there's lots of vans that have been converted here, have still got the commuter van or the work van number plates, and if the police pull you over, then you can be fined because you don't have all the paperwork. But again, like everything else in Thailand, there is a workaround with that. If everything's screwed and bolted to the inside of the van, so therefore it's not fixed and it can be taken out, then you can just say it's not fixed to the van. So therefore you can get away with not having to pay the fine. But that's just one of the workarounds. But yes, they do have vans. And as much as I'd like to have one and travel around, Thailand hasn't got the infrastructure like it has in Europe or the UK or America, where you drive around and you have the parks where you can plug in, because you need aircon for sure. Otherwise, it's like boiling the bag if you sleep in the van with no air conditioning. And let's just say 1 million baht for the cheapest van. You can get beautiful rooms, nice rooms here for 1,000 baht a night. That's a lot of nights for 1,000 baht per night in 1 million baht. So we've discussed it and we've talked about it, and we've decided hotel rooms with the air conditioning, the ensuite bathrooms, even at 1,000 baht, win every time. Because even then, if you spend 1 million baht, there's maintenance, the insurance, and the running costs of everything. So it's going to be 1 million baht plus. But yes, in answer to your question, they do have vans here. But it's for me, it's a novelty. It looks good, and I know a couple of guys that live in the vans, if you like, for holidays and things like that. But no, it's never going to catch on that much. It's a trend over here with a lot of the Thai people, but tents and camping is a big thing over here at the minute with Thailand, with Thai people. Chiang Mai is expensive, mate. Well, I don't. Expensive. Some people's view of expensive is more than others people. I've always found Chiang Mai good value for hotels and the food, and just, we've visited there numerous times for holidays now, and I always find it good value. Good day, Les. I'm on my way to Thailand, 5th of November. My return flight back to Newcastle, 6th of April. Oh, well done. That's a good stay. And it's in the perfect time as well with regard to weather-wise, because it's the high season then. So enjoy, absolutely enjoy. You're coming through the best time, the cooler season. It's a bit more cooler and the air's a bit more fresher. So yeah, congratulations. Have a good few months holiday. I'm sure you will. Chiang Rai is cheap. I love Chiang Rai. I proposed to my wife in Chiang Rai. Chiang Rai tea plantation, stunningly beautiful, and it was very nice. Campers are intense. But again, it's just a novelty, and my wife says to us, if I want to go down that route where you just have a picnic table and good quality chairs, and even if we have a tent, we can just put it on the beach during the daytime. She said, I'll sit in the tent, or we can put stuff in the tent, and we go for barbecues and use the tent as a base, so you're out in the sun, although we always sit in the shade anyway. Should do that. But she said, I don't want to spend any nights at all sleeping in a van. And I can understand that. And as much as I still like the van life and I loved camping when I was back in the UK, and I had a caravan and I loved the caravan. I could have lived in the caravan full time. Over here in Thailand, it's not that well advanced. Basically because of the heat, you do need that air conditioning on, and without that, it would just be very, very uncomfortable. Rick MB. Okay, thanks for joining and everybody else joining us. Thanks very much. Again, has anybody asked me email address? If anybody's got any questions, please feel free to email me, and I'll answer as best as I can. And for anybody that wants to have a look at, I've got numerous amounts of ebooks on my Buy Me a Coffee link, and I've just added this one on now. So Dream, Dare, and Shut Up. People ask me about various things. I'm always like positive. The glass is always half full. So this is some good reading. It's only $3, so it's the price of a cup of coffee. Over 218 pages of useful information. It gets your mindset thinking into how you want to live and how you want to retire and working and things like that. And if you have a positive mindset, the positivity shines through, and you can do basically whatever you want. So have a look at that on the link below, and on the coffee shop link, and see what you think. Again, I would dare say if anybody, if they ever bought it and they didn't want it and they didn't like it, I'll give you your money back, $3. That's how confident I am that it's useful to anybody who wants to have a look and buy one. So it's all to do with that mindset over here that you can do. I stay away from negativity. And there are, sadly, over here in Thailand, plenty of negative people, plenty of naysayers. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other. You know, the people who sort of knock me are the wealthy people, the wealthy expats who live over here, because I'm always for the working man. I'm always for the people who live on a budget. I don't have money to throw away. I live on like £1,400 to £1,500 a month, and I feel as if I live on a good lifestyle for that amount of money. We have a good life, but some other people said, you know, how can you live in a impoverished existence living on that amount of money? Well, somebody's, you know, impoverished existence is somebody's luxury existence, and I would say £1,500 a month is the sweet spot for people to live in, and it's so easy to live on that amount of money. And I've done various videos about living on £1,000 a month, even one or two videos that I've done living on 35,000 baht a month, which is about £800 a month. So that's like the state pension that you get in the UK. You can live on that amount of money. You probably live a better lifestyle over here on that amount of money than you would do in the UK. But living in the UK, if you've only got your pension, you haven't saved on your private pension or anything else like that. So if you retire and you're scared about retiring, you will not just get the state pension, because then you'll qualify for other benefits. And there was a guy did a video, I forget his name now, of what benefits you can claim if you're just on the state pension, and if you don't own your own house, if you rent accommodation, you get other benefits for that as well. So in reality, that brought it up to £1,500 a month from his state pension up to, including the benefits, around £1,500 a month, which is just about survivable in the UK when you get all the benefits. You're not going to live a fantastic life, but you'd probably live a better quality of life on £800 or £900 a month over here than you would on £1,500 in the UK. Again, depending on where you live in the UK, it all depends the lifestyle that you want to leave. So yeah, it all comes down to choice, doesn't it, at the end of the day? Oh, right. So what else have we got? Comments? Anybody left any comments? I live on less than £900 per month and have a better life than I ever would in the UK. Oh, thanks very much for agreeing with me. And as many people say it can't be done, but I can show, and I've shown guys, it can be done. I've shown a couple of guys on £1,000 a month. One guy came over twice in 2 years, just to make sure that it hadn't gone up from the year before. And I showed him what he could get overlooking the beach. I think it was 6,500, 7,000 baht a month, £140 a month. And his living costs, his eating costs, his entertainment costs once a week. And he still came out with £200 less than £1,000. And that's buying his own motorbike, having his transportation, being able to get a visa agent to be able to renew his visa every year. It's possible to do. You have to again think outside the box. I keep saying that message, think outside the box, because you do. There's always a solution to every single problem. There's a solution, and I only actually give legal ways of doing things. I wouldn't suggest anybody to do anything illegal, but there are ways to navigate around the system that are totally legal and above board by living here in Thailand. Be like me, like trying to live on £290 a month. It is possible, but very difficult, but I have no choice, thanks to the Department of Work and Pensions. That's some existence on £290 a month. Well done if you can live on that amount of money. It can't be very, very, satisfying, and that such amount of money. But the Department of Work and Pensions, I'm still fighting with the Department of Work and Pensions. I'm still trying to help this guy. Here we are now in October, so it's been 9 months. 9 months we've been fighting the Department of Work and Pensions, and I've wrote two letters, freedom of information requests for the information, and they haven't wrote back. So I've just sent the third one now to the Complaints Department of the Department of Work and Pensions, with copies of the letters that I've sent to them and saying that you failed to answer these on the freedom of information requests. And I did that last week, so I'm still waiting for a reply from them. They say that they'll reply within 10 days. Well, it's been 7 weeks for one and 5 weeks for the other, and still not an answer. Not even an email to say we've received your complaint or we've received your application. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But I did get a good piece of information off a guy who lives in South Africa, and again I'll do a follow-up video for that. And he got his pension rise after living 8 months in the UK. He actually succeeded and got his increase, and it maintained the increase. But he did have to fight for it, even though they told him he'd keep his increase. When he went back to South Africa, they decreased it back to the old rate, but he fought the battle and he showed proof of what he did about staying in the UK, and they agreed to uprate it to the new amount. So it is possible, it can be done, but you have to fight with the Department of Work and Pensions. They hope that you just give up and leave it alone and you don't do anything. There is a new pressure group building on the Labour government about unfreezing all of them pensions for the people that have had their pensions frozen who live anywhere in the world. Is that going to happen? No, it isn't. I can't see that happening at all, because at the end of the day, it would cost them too much money to pay all the frozen pensions. They're struggling now. I mean, let's see what's going to happen in the budget in November. You know, there's a lot of scary news coming out, what they're going to do and what they ain't going to do. And after next year, all the pensioners, if they get the increase, they're going to be taxing implications. So they give it with one hand and they'll take it with the other. What they're going to do with that, they're talking also about cutting the triple lock, because they can't afford to pay the pensions. If they carry on doing what they're doing, by 2034, the pensions department will be bankrupt. So they've got to do something to it. But it's like political suicide if they do anything with the pensions. It's political suicide anyway, because with the way things are going, Labour are never ever going to get back into power. Reform are going to win, I think. But as somebody says, you know, the Labour government could ruin the country before Reform get in. Then the Labour will just blame the Reform for ruining the country. let's see what happens. It's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? And there's actually there's been no good news in the UK for months and months and months. Well, for years and years and years. And what can they do to improve everybody's feelings? You know, people want to feel safe, secure, and worth the value, but nothing like that is happening. And there's nothing like that in the pipework. There's no good news coming early on, sadly, in the UK. So, all right, we've been going an hour and a half now. So, has anybody got any other questions? And if they haven't got any questions, and I'll finish it off. And we'll leave it at that one, because, as I say, I'm here to answer any questions. And if anybody's got any questions, send me an email and I'll answer any questions that I can. Have a look at my shop with regard to email books for keto, for living in Thailand, moving to Thailand. Is Thailand the best place? And the Dream, Dare and Shut Up. That's a good book to have a read of. It's got the information that's in that book right at the very beginning on the description, and it'll talk all about it. And as I say, if you buy it for $3 and you don't like it, I'll give you $3 back. How's that? It's a win-win situation, isn't it? But I fail to see that there isn't one section there that would help anybody. That wouldn't help anybody out. So on that note, we'll call it quits, and we'll call it the end of the day, because the clouds are coming over here now, and I think it's going to absolutely hide it down with rain, and I don't want any of my cameras or my laptop to get wet. So thanks very much for joining me. Very much appreciated as always, and we'll leave it there, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Bye for now.